Big Ten changes could be coming. Now, I'm going to pause here. It's not necessary at the moment. We're just doing contingencies tonight. We're just doing mere hypotheticals, because right now the Ohio State Buckeyes are a 23.5-point favorite against Michigan State Saturday. Ryan Day will not be the head coach in that game. He's still in quarantine. However, the Buckeyes will go into East Lansing and probably win comfortably. I mean, I expect them to win Saturday. They are such a comfortable favorite, we're not even going to break down the game tonight. I want to break down more important matters. Back in fourth grade, I was trying to say, where can I draw a reference point? Where can I go back in time? Where's the data point? And the data point naturally for me is in the geography bee in fourth grade. There was a girl, not going to use her last name, but there was a girl, first name Whitney, in Miss Holland's fourth grade class there at Sherwood Elementary School in Phoenix City, Alabama, where I was enrolled, even though I was a citizen of the state of Georgia at the time, but the statute of limitations is up now. And she was a literal genius. This girl was extremely sharp, and we knew that we didn't stand much of a chance against her in the geography bee. However, we show up to school that day. We're ready to compete. We show up to school, and there's no Whitney. She's nowhere to be found. And we hold the geography bee, and we think we got this because she didn't show up. So, I mean, yours truly is in the running at that point. A bunch of my buddies are in the running. I can't even remember who won, but the point is it's irrelevant. There's a reason I don't remember. Because you know what Sherwood Elementary School did? They took Whitney and they shoot her right on into the finals anyway. She was a no-show because she was sick, yet she was so smart that they just said, listen, let's be real, idiots. We all know she would have smoked you. And so you barely know where the corner of Phoenix City, Alabama is, much less what the capital of Wyoming is. So she would have smoked you, and they were right. And so she gets pushed on into the finals. Now, in one sense, we were mad, but in the other sense, we knew they were right. So there wasn't too big a hubbub made about that. And the reason that I say that is because it could be about to go down in the Big Ten. The focus this whole time in the Big Ten and the hope, for lack of a better term, amongst fan bases like Texas A&M is maybe Ohio State's just not going to be able to get enough games in, and they're not even going to be able to qualify for their own conference title game, and that's going to be this sort of direct, indirect way that we can back our way into a playoff spot. Well, we spent a whole lot of time focusing on that, and we probably didn't spend enough time focusing on the fact that all that's written in pencil. First off, those rules themselves were just written a few months ago, very hastily, might I add, a few months ago. It's not like anyone sat around a powwow over an entire weekend and said, all right, we got to really get in depth and think about this. Someone just said, all right, what's our rules going to be? Anyone got any ideas? Well, let's make them play 6 games minimum. That sounds good. Anyone got a pencil? Write it down. It's our covenant. Let's go for it. And so it's written in pencil. Well, you know what you can do with the pencil? You can flip that thing upside down and you can erase whatever you wrote. And my feel, as now we're getting closer to the edge of the cliff, and you realize there is a very, very heavy favorite in the Big Ten to win the conference that may not get to play for the conference title. My feel now, overwhelmingly, after talking to a couple of folks, but my feel even before that is the Big Ten is not going to let Ohio State miss out on a chance to play for a conference title if the only thing that stands between Ohio State and a trip to Indianapolis is Big Ten protocol. Because really, they made the protocol, they can change the protocol. So what I'm telling you is, if they don't get, well, they're probably going to get this weekend's game in. If they don't get that game against Michigan in next week and someone's telling them, nope, can't pass go, can't head to Indy, you don't have enough games under your belt, it's up to the chancellors, presidents, athletic directors to just say, yeah, we kind of screwed that one up. And you guys are by 10 miles the best team in the league. We're going to let you go anyway. Now, here's the question. How does that make you feel? Because I know how I felt in fourth grade when Whitney got shooed right on into the finals. And she won, by the way. She was the smartest kid in school, so she won. But how does that make you feel? Because I understand either way. You may be mad about that. Well, the rules got changed at the last minute for the golden calf here. Yeah, I understand all that sentiment. But I got to tell you, I just got to be flat out honest with you. I'm kind of ready to accept it. There's 2 reasons. Number one, all standards and principles and consistency have been thrown out the window a long time ago in 2020. So I'm not even going to rest on those laurels. But the second reason, well, one of many reasons, is they fought to play. Ohio State fought to play. There were a lot of folks dragging their feet hard in the Big Ten back in July and August when it looks like things are going to go off the rails and Ohio State's fighting and Penn State's fighting, Nebraska's fighting. That's why we haven't taken a pot shot at anyone up there regardless of their record, because we appreciate and respect the fact that some folks actually wanted to, play football. Shame on them. Brand them on the neck. They should never be allowed in some circles that you're in again. But my point is they fought for it, and there may now be some issues that are or are not within the realm of their control that may keep them from being able to play for a conference championship. And my whole point is, if those are the factors that are in place, and they are, and then the other factor is it's so blatantly obvious there's not anyone in that conference that's holding a candle to them right now, I'm just ready to accept it. In a normal year, it's garbage, but in a normal year, this wouldn't be a conversation to begin with. They're a clear number one. Yeah, I believe if I were in the Big Ten at this point, I'd be saying the same thing. Are we really going to be the reason that that team's not going to play for a conference championship? Now, if they lose a game or if they lose games and they keep themselves out, that's a whole nother deal. So who holds the power? Because I know everyone wanted to, put a target on Kevin Warren, and it's not that we were the biggest fans of Kevin Warren back when this was initially happening. That's the conference commissioner, for those unfamiliar. But the thing's going to fall in the same set of laps that it did when we were talking about whether or not we were going to have a season. And that's presidents and chancellors and athletic directors. Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin kind of intimated that change could be coming, I think, in an interview he did yesterday or day before yesterday. So here are the paths. Number one, just get the Michigan State game in and get the Michigan game in, and they'll probably win both, and we'll be good. And they'll go on to the Big Ten title game, and all's well that ends well. And at that point, if they lose, they lose. If they win, they're probably in the playoff, which will create a whole separate discussion that we will get to in due time. You also could get this weekend's game in and then find out that you can't get the Michigan game in. Now, as it stands, again, the very, very rigid view of that is, well, if you can't get that game in, you're not going to have enough. You can't go to Indianapolis. Well, then you have two more paths. You could either have the Big Ten step in and say, nope, you can go anyway, or you could have the Big Ten step in and say, we're going to allow you to schedule another game. Find someone in the conference, find Nebraska, find whoever you want to, schedule another game, and just dial up a win, essentially. But schedule another game, get your minimum requirements met. We're going to allow it. This is our fault. This is our fault to begin with. And so you do what you need to do, and then we'll do what we need to do on our end. My point is, I highly expect Ohio State to play for a Big Ten championship one way or another.